Welcome to Paralytic Activities Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things creepy, kooky, weird and spooky. All done with an ale or two.
Thank you there, Mr. Nicholas Stapani.
Cheers, my white tire.
You will do for us, I can tell you that. Like Nick just says, welcome to Paralytic Activities Podcast. Neil, we had a few people, right, who sent in some kind of examples of what we should do with that one-stop shop, kooky, spooky, lukey, whatever I've been saying. And when I find it, here we go. We've got from Stephanie Newton, Mizuki Suzuki.
Bazooki.
Thanks for that.
That Godzilla's a little kid.
I think it is. Simonized, spooky, kooky, weird and frightful. White Swan, spooky, kooky, weird and fluky. But it was Gina Morley, Neil. Gina Morley came up with the why don't you mix it around a little bit and it works. Creepy, kooky, weird and spooky.
Yes.
Thank you, Nicholas Stapani. You will do for us, I can tell you that. So there you go, Neil.
Cheers for my white.
Yeah, anyway, episode 12. Yeah, tonight we're off to Orlando in Florida.
And we, John?
Yes, the Magic Kingdom, and we're entering the Haunted Mansion, plus a few other places. It's in Disney World, and the resident spooky tales and the myths and legends that surround the attraction.
Yes.
Woo-hoo!
And we're going to go and witness that, are we, Johnny boy?
Yes, next week. Luke the Riddler Walker will join us for this week's Cryptid Factor. Orange as another tale in Orange Spills the Juice. We also have Night of the Living Dead in a nutshell. And if we've got time, we're going to go into a little of Orange's paranormal pop picks. And I think tonight he has chose the classic. 40 years old, Neil.
Really?
1983 come out. Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yes, we've got to do this now because we're going away and we ain't going to have time to do it before.
This is true. So we're going to take a couple of weeks off. And so this will be the last one for a little bit. But Neil, Paranormal Isle, what have we got, my son?
Well, John, I've really hit the jackpot this week.
Ooh, bet you have.
Have a bollocks. Spitfire. You know, a Spitfire, John. It's like sounds like a very old airplane, yeah. But vintage beer, Amber Ale.
Well, it is, Neil.
Shepherd Neem.
Neil, just pour it. We ain't got to go through with Spitfire. It's a classic £1 bottle of beer from Morrison's. So Neil, just pour the shit. You know, we like to start the show with a beer, like our good friend Nick Stapani said. So you know, we're just going to do a quick one. Here we go. It's pouring it right now.
Yeah, it's a quiet pour. This one
Sounds fantastic. Well, it is old, Neil. It is old.
It is. It's a very quiet pour, but it's a nice old smell of the amber ale. Takes me back, Johnny boy.
But it does. Neil, ale scale.
You know what? It's really nice. It is, John. That'll put hairs on your chest.
It tastes like you've been drinking through a sock. It really tastes like
John,
to me.
just stop pouring it. Stop it. It's really nice.
Okay.
I'm spitting feathers in a minute and I'm on fire.
Anyway, let's crack on, Neil. You got your beer.
Yeah.
I've got mine. And comments from last week, please. What have we got this week from the comments?
Do you want me to go first or you?
Last week's episode, Neil.
Yes.
What was it? Every week I ask him this, and he never remembers.
And it was the here's Johnny, Soggy and Cloggy.
Here's Cloggy, Doggy, and
That's
here's
it.
Johnny, Neil.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so the comments from last Neil, what have you got for us?
We have got from Stephanie Newton.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you guys. I think she's a Goonies fan, John. Sorry, I'm late to the party, but better late than never, right? Question mark.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Pressel Road was known as a dark ride. The track that the ride was on, winding the pretzel-shaped cars, also had a pretzel shape attached to the front to stop the car from flipping over.
Nice.
Each ride had 5 cars, 350 feet of track, and the ride lasted 15 minutes. Pretzel Rise usually had the theme Caveman, Haunted House, Lost Mine, Golden Nuggets, Devil's Cave, Pirates Co-op, Buckets of Blood, and I bet would be your favourite with John, Spookorama, and Ghost.
That goes on a bit, though.
Leave it alone, John. That's a lovely comment, that is.
It is a lovely comment. And, Google is her best friend.
Yeah.
That's what she tells
John,
me anyway, Neil.
John,
That's what she tells me anyway.
you think that comment's long?
Yeah, but Neil, you haven't got to read it all.
I'm reading it all.
Just say it in like a synopsis, in a shorter version.
I can't, John. I could read it really quick.
But our good friend Neil, Hayley Summergill, also says, brilliant episode yet again. Proper cheered me up. Couldn't see the YouTube upload, though. That's because, Hayley, we do it a week later. Also got another comment from our good friend, the Warsaw Mothman,
Yes,
Mr. Martin Lever. Great listening again, fellas. The Shining is probably one of the best movies ever made, simply because of Jack Nicholson. Orange, you had one job. Say Jack Nicholson, because last week he was saying Jack Nicholas. Well, we both was, really, are we? We both was.
The golfer.
Yeah. Alison McGill also says, Jack Nicholas. That was in The Shining. Laugh out loud. Great episode. Do you know what? There's always leaves a comment down our alley.
I think they're fantastic. These people, John. They don't have to go out the way to us.
No.
You know what I mean?
Hayley Udwink, Neil. Love watching you two crack each other up. You never fail to make me laugh out loud. And one last one, Neil, before you come out with your bloody speech. Thanks, fellas. Always good fun. Cheers for the shout out. It was appreciated. The Shining, terrific. One of the best films ever made. I agree about the recurring evil, and the beautiful naked lady that turns into a rotten old lady is a victim of this said evil. As much as Jack is shocked and freaked out, he can't learn the error of his ways. So this evil truly is dead at the end. See you again next time, gents. See what I was saying last week, Neil, that it's a recurring evil. That's why he's in the picture from 1921, and then he's in the picture at 1970. So the evil just keeps rotating and rotating in The Shining. Do you know what I mean? No. So that bird, the rotting one, even though she was fit at the start, is always going to be there. Can't get rid of her.
Okay.
Here we go. Settle in.
Which is from our good friend, Alan Michael Wallman.
Oh, Neil, talking about Alan Michael Wallman, he's doing all our printing. This is our new shirt, people. Going to have a little merch store coming soon. Anybody interested? Paralytic Activities Podcast. And on the back, it says, what's it say, Neil?
If you don't get any spirits, do what we do.
Drink them instead.
Drink them instead.
On the back, have some of that.
Anyway, he was on about the story, John.
Yeah.
That he told us about them 2 pennies.
Yeah.
Right? The story about the 2 Victorian pennies I gave the Chucky brothers, he said.
The Chucky
brothers.
That's us.
When I went to sort my dad's gravestone, the old stonemason Wilf was full of interesting stories. It's you putting me off, this, John.
Easy for you to say.
When in his younger days, Wilf was working as a gravedigger in Leicester. The vicar of the church came to Wilf and asked him to prepare a family crypt for a funeral. When Wilf checked crypt, he found out it would be full. So he went back to the vicar to tell him the news. The vicar was not very pleased to hear the news and told Wilf, go back and make the room. Because people were coming to the funeral from all over the country, and because the funeral was in the next 3 days, and it was too late to cancel, etc. So Wilf went back and removed one of the old coffins from the crypt and took the quiet corner of the churchyard and burnt the coffin. He burnt the coffin, John, right? The next day, Wilf was raking through the ashes, and that's when he finds 2 pennies. Years later, Wilf got married. His wife, a local medium in Leicester, she used to place the pennies on her own eyes when she performed in a seance. She used to tell Wilf they used to help her get in touch with the other side. The story was told to me back in 1989. Wilf gave me the coins from the ashes of the coffin, and he gave them us.
Fan bloody tastic. Neil, we've got the coins behind you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get them.
Oh, yeah. Please put them in a frame, John.
And if anybody wants to see what these coins look like, you have to check out when it goes on YouTube in a week's time. You hear me, Ali, in a week's time. There's the coins from our good friend, Alan Michael Wallman. A fantastic story.
You're silly arse.
And we really appreciate that he passed them to us. And then when we go on our next investigation, Neil, we're going to use them as like a trigger object, are we? So you can get any energies attached to them. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do, Neil. So there you go. Any more comments, Neil? Are we done with all that?
I'm done with the comments, Johnny boy.
Brilliant. So we're going to just go straight in, Neil. Straight in with Scream Parks. That's what we're going to do. And we are off to Orlando in Florida for the Haunted Mansion at Disney World. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Now, the
Yes.
reason we're doing this now is obviously we go there next week, and plus there is so many kind of tales and ghost stories about fairs and circuses and all this kind of stuff. And imagine at night they're all spooky, are they?
Yeah.
Like a spooky fair, a spooky circus. So I've been trailing the internet or the interweb for ghost stories. Basically, that's what
Yeah.
I've been doing, and there is quite a few at Walt Disney World in Florida. So we are going straight to the Haunted Mansion, Neil. That's where we're going, kid. So buckle up. Arms and legs in the vehicle at all times. Here we go. So it all starts, the ride. And Neil, I know you've never been on the ride, and people who haven't been on the ride, it is an amazing ride. It looks spectacular. It's a proper haunted house, Neil. That's what it is. It's a brilliant thing. So it starts like this: a spirited tour. The disembodied voice of the ghost house is your private guide through the cadaverous realm of an eerie, haunted estate, home to ghosts, ghouls, and supernatural surprises. Glide past a casket-filled conservatory, Madame Leota's chilling seance room, and a ghostly graveyard of singing spectres as you attempt to find your way out. Beware of hitchhikers. These phantom pranksters may follow you home. So anyway, the Haunted Mansion is a dark ride attraction located at Disney World, Magic Kingdom, and in Tokyo Disneyland. The Haunted House attraction features a ride-through tour in the Omnimover, vehicles called Doom buggies, Neil.
Doom buggies.
Not Dune, Doom buggies. There's also Phantom Manor and Mystic Manor, which exist at Disneyland Paris and Hong Kong Disneyland, Neil. So there
Hong
you
Kong
go.
have got a Disneyland.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Now, there is quite a few myths, not Smiths, myths around the Haunted Mansion, Hill, and this is one of them. There's two versions of this story, one involving a construction worker and the other involving a test rider. While the specifics are slightly different, the overall gist of the tale is the same, that the original version of the Haunted Mansion was so terrifying that it led to someone suffering a heart attack and dying. According to the myth, this led to an extensive retooling of the ride, adding in a humorous tone and delaying the mansion's opening from the early 1960s to 1969. So that's a myth, Neil. People have come out with a story about the heart attack and people dying there,
Yeah.
but it's a myth. So someone may or may not have made it up. Now, myth two, in the ride, like I said, there's Madame Leota's seance room, and she's using a spell book. A long-running urban legend about the Haunted Mansion revolves around the spell book. Now, for decades, stories have circulated that the tomb on the science room table is actually an authentic 14th century spell book containing real spells used for witchcraft. And we'll come back to that in a little bit. Now, there's also another myth, Neil, that people spread ashes at the Haunted Mansion.
What? Family ashes.
Yeah, family ashes, Neil. Ashes of hundreds of guests have scattered through the various Haunted Mansions attractions, arguably as enough truth to be considered true, while at the same time, it's not entirely factual. Now, Disney, if you're caught scattering ashes in the graveyard outside the mansion, you're banned for life.
Seriously.
Yeah, you're banned for life. And what's the point of doing it anyway? Because anybody who's been to a Disney park, everywhere is spotless, so it gets cleaned on a regular basis. So you're scattering old grandma's ashes at the Haunted Mansion. Before you know it, it's in a little dustpan and brush, and it's through in the skip. So there's no point, Neil.
Yeah, I understand.
There's no
that, but-
point.
Oh well.
So
Yeah,
there
I
you
know
go.
what you mean.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But there is a famous ghost of the Haunted Mansion, Neil. And his name's Timmy.
Jimmy.
Not Timmy Lee. Timmy is believed to have found his way to the Haunted Mansion after his death. His mom scattered his ashes on the ride in the 90s. Since then, multiple people have had encounters with Timmy, and he seems to enjoy tugging on people's jackets to get their attention and disappearing before they have a chance to spot him. Whether you believe it or not, Neil, I don't know. Now, one guest was in that area of the park with her family when a child noticed a boy running by, but when they tried to find him, guess what, Neil?
Well,
He was gone.
he probably just pissed off somewhere else, John.
He could have done. He could have done. Now, the story of Timmy is the little boy that he loves to come to Disney. Well, he goes round the Haunted Mansion, he goes round Alice in Wonderland, and he also goes to a few others. So, he's getting his money's worth.
Jesus Christ, you got one of them wristbands on.
Now, castmen have also spotted seeing him inside the mansion and refused to look at the wall of mirrors inside the mansion, Neil, because people have saw behind them little Timmy stood there wearing a red jacket. Imagine that, Neil.
Don't shit yourself.
Imagine that.
That I don't know about that, John, because there'll be one mirror will be thin,
Yeah.
one mirror will be fucking fast.
You wonder if you don't seem scared or laugh your tits off.
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Little head.
But the reason people think there's truth behind it is because Madame Leota's, when you go to that part of the ride, Neil, she's a head in a crystal ball. That's what she is, and she's reading from a spell book, but she's doing it in a seance way. So she's constantly calling out the spirits on a continuous loop. Now, if people have scattered their ashes, and there is some energy left there at the mansion, and you've got a continuous call out session going on all day, every day, how do you know that someone's gone, hold up, what am I doing here? And who's calling me?
No.
Yeah, before you know it, the spirit's roaming around the bloody mansion.
That's a bit. It's just like it's like basically calling out on a loop.
On a loop, Neil, every single day since 1968 or whatever. So the mansion already has 999 ghosts now.
No more calling out on the blog than the bingo.
the mansion's got 999 ghosts. But it's got 1,000 now for little Timmy's there.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, is it true? I don't know. Do you believe it? I don't know.
Who counts them, John?
No.
Who counts the spooks?
Because they're animatronics now. That's why they're not real.
Oh.
They're animatronic ghosts in the man. Jesus Christ. The only real one people are saying is Timmy. Confessions of a Kid Ghost, starring Timmy Lee. So there you go, Neil. Now we're moving on from the Haunted Mansion, Neil, and we go into the Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror?
Yeah.
Sounds like the burger from...
a bad burger from KFC.
Yeah.
Now, the Tower of Terror, if anybody knows about this ride, you go, it's a Twilight Zone, so you go into a lift all the way up to the top. You're in chairs, and it's a drop, right? So you drop from the top in a mansion, but you don't. It's weird because if before you drop, you go out on a track, and you go around the hotel in the terrace, and you're seeing all these different ghosts and things like that. And then you drop and you think, well, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? It's a weird old ride, but there is a ghost story at the Tower of Terror, and it's supposed to be either a cast member who was a bellhop for the last platform on the attraction. While loading guests one day, he dropped dead. Afterwards, strange things started happening, especially on the platform where he died. Lights would go on and off, and sometimes the ride freezes at the end of the day as other cast members do their nightly checks. Now, people have claimed to catch sight of the ghost in the entrance of the attraction. However, when they would try to look directly at it, the ghost would disappear.
Yeah.
It's probably little Timmy again, eh? Pissing around. I bet he's a right little prankster.
But he is.
Do you know what? One day he'll get up, he'll have a little red jacket on. Right, I'm off to the Haunted Mansion, I'm going to go and shit some people up. And then next day, well, Tower of Terror, you put a little bellhop costume on with a little hat. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There you go. He's freaking other people out.
That's the time of his life, Sean.
He's loving life, even though he's dead. Now, there's another ghost, another spook. And this one is at the Space Mountain ride, Neil. Now, if you go on YouTube, people, and check it out, Mr. One Way is called. What? Mr. One Way. He's not Chinese. Mr. One Way. Check it out on YouTube. There is actual video of this actually happening. So what it is, Mr. One Way is the resident ghost of Space Mountain. Now, Mr. One Way is known for occupying single riders as they board their car. He is often described as a tall man with ginger hair and a tinted red face. It's our
I got
orange.
ginger hair, John. Look at me.
Neil, you were used to have ginger hair. That's why your
Look,
balls are
Eminem
still
there,
ginger.
Look, Eminem.
Though he may board the car alongside an individual rider, by the time the car returns to the unloading station, well, there's no one there no more. So someone has got in next to you, like me. I've come in, sat by you on Space Mountain, gone on the ride, and when you pulled, up, oh, great ride! You look, there's no one sat next to you. There's no one sat next to you now.
But John,
That's why
there was somebody sat next to you.
Well, that's why it's called Mr. One Way. You don't see him, and he just gets on and then vanishes. He don't come back. That's why it's called Mr. One Way.
But you know,
Now, according to some stories about this mysterious disappearing man, Mr. One Way will interact with guests in the queue line as those seated beside him. He has also been described as odd in his interactions, as if he is unfamiliar with any recent updates to Disneyland. Many believe Mr. One Way is a spirit who died on the ride sometime during the 70s, but since Space Mountain's 1977 opening, only a handful of deaths have occurred, and all of them have been due to pre-existing conditions of the riders. So, Neil, Mr. One Way, what's your thoughts?
John, I don't know. You don't see him all the tickets. You want my tickets?
So, you know, you're about to. Me and Gemma have sat in front of you.
Yeah.
On Space Mountain, and you've had a cart on your own right behind us,
Yeah.
but someone gets in next to you,
Yeah.
and then you've gone round the track, way screaming your head off and crying more than likely,
Yeah.
and then you pull up, you go, oh, thank God for that, and you look next to you, and that person's no longer there. What do?
You know what I want to do, John?
What would you do?
I'll get off the ride,
Yeah.
right, then go and have a look at my photos.
That's a good call. That's a good call, Neil.
Thanks.
Why ain't no one thought of that? Have a look at your memory maker.
Yes, have a look at the photos. And if there's some dude next to you, you know, look like fucking Casper, whoever he is.
Yeah.
Tie one shoe. I don't know. What's his name?
Mr. One Way.
One Way.
Mr. One Way.
You know, you think to yourself, man, I was sitting next to a ghost. You know what I said to a spook?
Anyway, Neil, get your rum, Savvy, because we're off to the Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, the Pirates of the Caribbean at Walt Disney World. Now, everyone's probably familiar with the ride and how creepy atmosphere is inside when the ride takes off. Now, the Pirates of the Caribbean is a frightening adventure, haunted or not. Because of this, a bit of an urban legend has developed and captured the imaginations of ghost hunters everywhere. Neil, this is, of course, the legend called George. Not really a pirate name.
Is that it?
No, this is the legend of George. Now, the legend goes an employee died. There's a lot of people dying on these rides. But then again, Neil, back in the day, right, some of the work, what you won't believe, some of the work would have gone into these rides, and these have been there for donkey's years, Neil. So imagine how dangerous it would have been back in the day. Health and safety, forget it. Eye visits, forget it. Safety helmets, forget it. People are going to die.
Have you been on the Big Dipper and the Grand National, John?
Yeah. People probably died on that, fixing that at all.
Rickety it is.
I know, yeah. Don't bring him into it. Now, an employee died during the construction of the ride, and his spirit still lingers to this day. Now, apparently, this ghost is dubbed George as a bit of a bad temper. Now, by stating you don't believe George exists, while what's he saying there? George exists, while on one of the boats, the ride is more prone to breaking down. In other words, he gets pissed off, Neil. George gets pissed off, and if you piss him off, your boat's going to break.
Great.
It's taking a sink because the water's around that deep, but it's going to break nonetheless. Now, additionally, some employees believe this all to be true, and so they say good morning to George, and they say good night to George, as a good luck charm. Do you know what I mean? Because they want the operation of the day to go smoothly. You don't want shit breaking down on your shift. Do you know what I mean? Not on my watch, Georgie boy. Not on my watch. So there you go, Neil. A lot of things go wrong if you don't say good morning or goodbye to old George.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
So he's like a bit of a stubborn bloke.
He's a bit of he's pissed off, Neil. He died making the ride. So there you go. He still like holds a grudge to this day. Now, Also in the Pirates of the Caribbean, there are some bones in several scenes on the ride, and they've been donated from a nearby medical facility. So the real bones, Neil, and they are in the ride. I think it's the bit where there's a dog in a cell with some pirates, and he's holding a couple of bones in his gob, and I think that's where it is. And the real human bones, Neil.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Now a lot of
Wow.
people have saw figures and that when they're closing the ride up at night. Now see, that could be anything because there's that many animatronics in this ride. There's pirates everywhere. Everywhere. There's got to be about 1,000, Neil, everywhere. So seeing shadows when you're locking this ride down, it could be just the animatronics.
Yeah.
The animatron, unless he's moving and like and shit and whatever. So that could be George, disgruntled.
Georgie and Timmy.
So there you go. That's it, Neil. That is like some of the ghosts and spooks at the Magic Kingdom in Disney World of Florida.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere by the sounds of it.
Yeah. And I do love this little section because talking about the theme parks and ghosts, love it. Love it, Neil. So, Neil,
And me.
we're going to go straight in now, people. Now, we all know that our Neil here is the most unluckiest, clumsiest person on the planet. Now, this is a true story. I have seen him trip over a wireless network. That's how clumsy he is. So we do a little section called Orange Spills the Juice. Neil, what have you got for us today?
Well, John, I'm running out of ones. I'm running out of stories.
Yes, Neil, you say it every week,
I
and
am.
every week you come up with another story.
And I just forgot about this. It was funny at the time, I must admit. Right. I went to the tip.
He loves a trip to the tip.
I went to the tip after bonfire night.
Yeah.
And as I pulled up, I got out the car and looked over, and this man and old woman were arguing, John, in front of everybody. It was like front seat at the Jeremy Cole show. I thought, what the family credit is going on here? I went up to the steward.
What the family credit?
I went up to the steward, John, and he said they were emptying the car. Oh, is it funny? And he threw a handbag in the rubbish skip. I don't know what he was playing out, but he was getting a right round of fucks, John.
With a purse in it and everything.
Everything, John. The skip was like 30 foot down. He had to throw it over the side, right? And he got the big claws of the digger. You know what I mean, right? And there's there
the teddy picker.
You idiots! Getting mad at him, right? But as he threw it, all the stuff came out the bag: a phone, a keys, a makeup. It's about 20 foot deep, full of other people's crap. Right? It was a disaster. John, I was in stitches, man. She was flipping on him in front of everybody, and he had a little smile on his face. Even he thought it was fucking funny, right? And I went about my business. Right? Emptying my car.
Yeah.
Emptying all the crap out of my car, right?
But that took a while.
Sure it was. All of a sudden, I felt a sharp pain in my foot. Right. I yelped in agony. I went to the ground, and I was on my back. And there was a Catherine wheel sticking out my foot. Right.
He was still lit, was he?
John, he had the nail in it. It was still going round. Right. And the stewards came over and I was then the attention. Them people that were arguing, everybody was coming over to me. Like,
Did you have a safety stick, Neil?
John,
with fireworks, you got to be 4 foot away, are you?
Yes, John. Yeah. I might as well skip that bit then.
Okay. Oh.
The stewards came over and took off them.
Let me just hold up. Just going to crank him back up. Okay, and go.
Right. The stewards came over and attention was took up them two arguing, and all of a sudden I felt the attraction was at me. I was like somebody out the circus, John. You're right. Then he pulled it out on my foot at arm's length before you butted in. John, I was in agony.
Great minds think alike, Neil.
I was in agony for a week.
Yeah.
Who would drop a Catherine wheel on the floor with a big nail in it?
Was it still? Could you still use it?
You know, it's obviously a dud, John.
Well,
So obviously,
you don't know. Did you try?
What's the matter with you? It was obviously somebody had a bonfire the night before,
Okay.
throwing all the shit in the
Well,
ship.
you don't say
And they
that.
dropped a Catherine wheel, a big triangle thing like that, the big one that you have at the good fairs, not one of my dad's used to buy, right? The good fairs, right?
Yeah.
And it had a big nail going through the middle of it where they whacked it to a tree or
Well,
a
you
shed.
never said that.
And as I've walked, I've stood on it, it's gone straight through my foot. How funny, John.
Well, it is. He's had more nails in him than Jesus.
Honestly, John, it was all. I couldn't walk for a week, man. I should have gone to the doctor and had a tetanus, you know what I mean? Bruh. Oh, man, it was just my foot was just throbbing, man. So I have a walking stick and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
A walking stick?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
couldn't walk. See what it is? Because the blood rushes to your foot.
People,
And it was like an heartbeat in about my foot.
people, there is a moral to this story. Fireworks are dangerous. You have to make sure that you're supervised by a bloody by an adult before you go near him. When I mean an adult, not him, because
Go on.
nail and fireworks just do not mix. Even dead ones.
I'm not
It's the only one who can get injured by a dead firework.
You know, so it's the only dead thing I've ever seen. You know, honestly, it was horrible, man. Horrible. Anyway, that's my story of the week.
Beautiful. We're just going to take a little quick break, and we'll be back. We'll have a little drinky poos and focus ourselves, because next, coming up, we have got the cryptid factor with our good friend Luke the Riddler Walker. See you in a little bit. See you in a little bit. Talk now, Neil. We can have a little break. Only for a minute, then. Just
John,
gather your thoughts.
talking
Cryptid factor.
that firework thing.
Yeah.
You know, I did about a few years ago. I put an airy bum repeater.
An airy bum repeater.
Yeah, stuck it out my arse.
Jesus Christ! I told you fireworks still don't get near him.
John, I'll tell you something now. It was weird. I was on the bench outside the globe. It was like an oven-ready chicken. I don't think it could bend that way, to be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah, they lit it like it.
And a little fuse, eh?
There's no need for that, John. I'd have a little fuse, actually. It was at least half an inch.
It grew then.
Yeah.
Go on, take a swig. We're going to straight into the old cryptid factor.
Air bomb repeater.
An airy bum repeater.
That was it.
Here it is.
That's what we was calling it.
And we are back off our little break. Thanks for sticking with us. We are going to go straight into one of our favourite sections of our show. It is the cryptid factor. And Neil, guess what?
What?
Bigfoot is joining us.
Well, yeah, I'm going to fit on age on.
Yeah? No, not joining us in the studio. He's joining us live from West Virginia.
God, he's that. What's his name?
What?
What's his name?
Sounds like a pair.
You know, he's saying,
Who's that?
what's his name? You like that?
Tommy Cooper.
Tommy Cryptid Cooper, eh?
Anyway, Luke the Riddler Walker is our cryptid expert, and he's going to give us, Neil, and everybody else listening, and everybody else who's watching, they're going to give us his opinion on the cryptid today. It's called the Luska. Now, I don't know much about this, Neil, so Riddler, take it away.
All right, me mons. Welcome back to the Cryptid Factor. As always, strap in, or in this case, get your trunks on. We're off for a paddle down the Caribbean to meet the Luska, or the Luskas, because this is the only cryptid so far that's reported to hunt in packs. Jesus caramba. Imagine a 75 to 200 foot shark with tentacles like a squid. Now imagine 10 of the buggers coming after your rubber ring. Oocha. First spotted in 1863. The Luska has another name, and it's him of the hairy hands, and I have no idea why. Probably because he's a bit grabby with all them tentacles like an aquatic perv. Some people believe this is just a sighting of a giant Pacific octopus, which, in my opinion, is a very plausible explanation. I absolutely love octopuses. Or is it octopi? Or is it just octopus like sheep? Any road, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, I'm going to chalk this up to just a sighting of a giant octopus. And whoever's decided to stick a shark's head on there must have been on some sort of drug, because it just sounds a bit daft, don't it? You've already got sharks. Sharks are more right as they are they? And they work. But what do y'all think? Let us know. Ta-da, me mons.
So there you go, Neil. That is
Yeah.
tonight's cryptid, the Luscus. What are your thoughts on the old Luscus, Neil?
I don't know what to make of that, John. Cut the hunting packs.
They hunt in packs, Neil. Yeah.
Where?
In the
Obviously,
sea.
in the sea.
Yes. Where do you think an octopus is going to be?
Oh yeah.
Walking down the street next to the bus stop.
I don't know what to make of that, John. It's got like airy hands.
No, it's called the hairy hand thing, but Luke don't know about that either.
No.
But Neil, in popular culture, the reports of the Lusca monster attacking swimmers and divers was investigated by the one and only Jeremy Wade, the host of the television series River Monsters.
Well,
Yeah. Now, in the episode Terror in Paradise, it sounds like some Hulk Hogan and starring, wouldn't it? Terror in
Oh.
Paradise, season 8, episode 4. If you want to go and check it out. Now, after investigating reef sharks and tiger sharks and the giant Pacific octopus, Wade settles on a large octopus being the most likely culprit for being the Lusca monster.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried cooking octopus, John?
Yes, Neil. I've been a chef for 25 years.
John, I will never, ever, ever try and cook octopus again. I put it in the pan, right, in boiling water, right, and it took 13 hours to cook. Unbelievable.
Why's that then?
Keep turning the gas off.
And the other way, though. I used to have a pair of octopus slippers, I did, Neil.
Yeah.
I did, yeah. It took me 4 hours to get at the front door. Kept sticking to the floor.
Sucker.
Yeah, so that's the... cheers, Luke.
Yeah.
That is our tonight's cryptid, Neil, the Lusca monster. Half octopus, half shark. And he hunts in
Yeah.
packs. So there you go.
Mad that is.
I know.
I couldn't imagine. Has he got a picture of it? What it looks like?
Well, you just imagine, right? A shark with the body of an octopus, and you've got it
Yeah,
right
John,
there.
It don't. I can't even imagine that.
I don't know where the hairy hands come from, though.
I can't even imagine that, John.
Okay, Neil. It is time now, people. Neil, get your milkshake ready, son.
Milkshake.
Your milkshake, because it's time for Flip the Screen. Brother. Neil, we are going to go into 1968's classic George A. Romero horror Night of the Living Dead in a nutshell. But first,
Can I just say one thing? 1968.
1968, Night of the Living Dead, the first of the trilogy.
That's when it first came out.
That's when it came out, Neil. That's why it was.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
why it was probably in black and white.
Oh.
So there you go. Anyway,
Brack and fries.
but before we go into a nutshell, Neil, we are going to do our Guess the Horror Shit title. Now, Neil doesn't watch many films, and he hasn't watched many films, and I can guarantee you 100% that he has not watched this one. So, Neil, all I want from you, from the title, is to tell me what it's about. Neil, what's it about? The film is called Blood Diner. What's it about?
Blood Diner.
Blood Diner, Neil.
Well, it's obviously about a restaurant. Yeah,
Correct.
that's is it like a drinking restaurant or a food restaurant?
Neil, what kind of restaurant is a drinking restaurant?
That they do everything with blood.
I'll say
Like
so.
drinks, everything's
Yeah,
made
like
with
a Bloody
blood.
Mary.
Bloody Mary, yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
blood milkshake,
Yeah.
blood bath,
Uh-huh.
blood sucker, blood
Blood-
clat. I don't know.
You need to give me a bit more than that, Neil. That's too easy.
All right, then. So what people do, they kill people, obviously, drain the blood,
Yeah.
put it into a food or into a drink.
Yeah.
In a diner. Again, be like last week's.
Kind of, but no cigar. Neil, this is the summary or the synopsis of the film. Blood Diner. Two brothers are entrusted by their
John, I'm the Blood Brothers.
Two brothers are entrusted by their uncle to uphold the ritualistic cannibalism of the ancient cult of Sheetar.
Sheetar.
I'm sure that was E-Man's missus.
What? That was Shiro.
Oh, was it? In order to do so, they have to prepare a feast of sacrifice for the resurrection of their goddess. Now, two cannibals, Hash, health food diner owners, are on a wacky quest to restore life to the 5 million year old goddess Shitar. Aided by their uncle's brain and his penis, the two set about getting the required parts, virgins, assorted body parts from whores, and the ingredients for a blood buffet. Their adversaries are the police, the chief with a Russian accent, the player detective, and the New Yorker with an Australian accent, you great girl, ah! So that is the summary for Blood Diner, Neil.
Well, yeah. What's the Russian got to do with it?
They're just part of the film, Neil, basically.
Oh.
So yeah, it's so what they do. They want to raise the dead of an ancient goddess called Shitar. Nothing to do with E-Man, and for what I don't know, they just want to kill people and use the blood to raise this goddess for ritual purposes, I suppose. I don't know what that guy's penis has got to do with it though.
Yeah.
I never got that far. So there you go, Neil. That is Blood Diner. Do you know that's one on the list? I think that's worth a little watch, eh?
Reckon.
Yeah, on a Sunday afternoon when it's raining outside now. Put that on.
No, you don't appeal to me, John. I'll be honest with you.
It don't. What do you mean? It don't appeal to you?
You know, it's a bit daft, eh? You know.
Anyway, people, sod Blood Diner. We are going straight in to an absolute classic. This film by George A. Romero in 1968 unleashed a new horror on the world, Neil. It wasn't the first zombie film, but it was the first zombie film because no one knew about zombies until this film. So somebody had already done some kind of a zombie film previous, but early, probably in the 1920s or something like that. But no one really watched it. They didn't care about it. Crap. So George A. Romero, he got the idea from the book I Am Legend, which is another film starring Will Smith.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah. So and he directed and produced Night of the Living Dead in 1968, all done in black and white. So Neil, I've got a couple of facts before we go into in a nutshell. Night of the Living Dead was made on a budget less than $150,000, which is fuck all to make a film. Do you know what I mean?
In them days, John, it was a lot of money.
Yeah, in them days, but it's still not a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Especially when some films now, like the Marvel, some of the crap Marvel films, they're costing like 100 billion. Neil, that's the difference, and the shit.
It's just ridiculous.
So this is how cheap they had to be. The blood used for the film, bear in mind, it's a zombie film. There's always a lot of blood in zombie films. Neil, they used chocolate syrup because the film was in black and white. Therefore, you can tell what colour the blood was anyway.
Ah, I was going to say, why'd you chocolate?
Do you know what I mean? And in some of the shots where some of the zombies are eating people, do you know what they used for that kind of special effect, Neil?
I don't know.
They used all the kind of the camera crew, their leftovers from the lunch, basically. So half-eaten hamburgers or meatball sandwiches were smeared in chocolate syrup, and the kind of the extras and the actors and that who were playing with zombies was eating that.
God's sake.
Exactly, yeah. Now, there is a scene in the film where there's a nude ghoul or a nude girl. And the reasoning that at least some of the ghouls would have woken up in a morgue and walked away naked. Now, the crew opted for a single Living Dead extra to be the nude on camera and enlisted a local artist model for the job. Now, when word spread that the production planned a nude scene during one of its night shoots, local residents apparently decided they all wanted to have a look. Now, the night they filmed the nude ghoul, which was obviously a female with her tits out and everything, all of Evans City found out about it, and they had their lawn chairs set up around the edge of the property like a bunch of pervs.
Don't blame them.
Now, Judith Ridley, who played Judy, said it was funny to see the rest of the zombies trying to keep their eyes elsewhere instead of looking down at the obvious places of the nude one. So you could probably see that in the film. You see the nude one, I bet there's what's going on over there? So there you go, Neil. There's a couple of cheek facts on George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead. Now, I'm just going to go straight in, people, to Night of the Living Dead in a nutshell. Let me just take a little swig, Neil. Ooh, quaffable. Now, here we go. On a peaceful afternoon, siblings Barbara and Johnny visit their mother's grave in a remote cemetery. They're coming to get you, Barbara. They're coming to get you. Now, in the foreground, an old man, all dusty and grey, stumbles towards the siblings. They are here, Barbara. Here's one now. Do you like that, Neil? It's quite spooky, ain't it? Now, as the old man lurches at them, it's not an old man at all. He don't look like, he just looks like he just stepped out the buckies, stinking of piss and fags. But no, it's a zombie. You ain't laughing now, am you, Johnny lad? As he falls and cracks his head on a tombstone. Now, Barbara screams and runs to the car. The zombie mon chases her, but she escapes. But lo and behold, Neil, the car hits a tree. So old Bob lets it to a near farmhouse. A mon named Ben turns up to the farmhouse and is greeted by an hysterical Barbara. Bosha! Have that as Ben thwacks around the chops. Chill, woman, chill! In the farmhouse, there are some dead farmers, and in the cellar are a mon and a woman and their daughter, but she has been bit and doesn't look the best. The mon named Cooper, Neil, is a right shit. He is a right shit. He's a total douchebag. You will all die up there, he says. You will all die. You need to be in the cellar. Sod off, Ben and Bob says. So Ben and Bob board up the farmhouse with no help from the knobhead Cooper. Zombies start attacking the farmhouse, a bit like a sailor to TK Maxx. The girl in the cellar turns to be a zombie and takes a chunk out of her mom's neck. Now Bob shoots her dead. Cooper, the twat, shoots Ben and locks himself in the loft. Ben locks himself in the cellar and Bob makes a run for it. Zipping round the living dead like Ronaldo on coke. The farmhouse is now swarmed by the zombies. The daylight arrives and Bob is saved by some local rednecks who are going around shooting the dead while sipping some, cold brewskis. Rednecks don't care, do they? They take Bob back to the farmhouse. They break down the door to the cellar. Then out pops a now zombie Ben. Bang! A few bullets to the head. Ben is dead again. From upstairs, the shit Cooper says, "You've come back to save me." "I don't think so, Cooper, you wanker." And Bob shoots him dead and goes, "That's another one for the fire." Roll credits. That, my friends, is Night of the Living Dead, 1968, in a bloody nutshell. So there you go. Neil,
Bloody good that, Johnny boy.
You've never seen the film. The black and white one is stunning on all, because it was a first. It broke movie boundaries. Back in the day, people was thrown up in the cinema, there was passing out and all this, even though it's not that bad, it's not that scary, and it's not gory at all, but it's just a great bloody film, Neil. So atmospheric, it's great. Even the remake by Tom Savini and also George A. Romero in 1990, Neil, they'd done a remake of Night of the Living Dead in colour, exactly the same film, different actors, but the only change to the whole film is that the girl Barbara was more of like a leading woman. She was more fighty, more feisty, do you know what I mean? Mm. And that was the only change. And I watched it the other night, and it was bloody great.
Was it?
It was.
I'd like to watch all these films, but I've got nobody to watch it with. So
oh, bless him. Anybody out there who wants to have a movie night with our orange, some popcorn, a couple of beers, and maybe some M&Ms and some ice cream, Happy days. Happy days.
Don't forget the popcorn, John.
Anyway, Neil, it's time for your.
Don't forget the popcorn.
Look, as long as there ain't an hole in the bottom. Do you know what I mean? I remember when you used to draw that down the old Walsall ABC.
You never forget that, will you?
I asked for sweet popcorn, not salty.
Oh,
You
it's that,
dirty,
John.
you dirty git.
I'll do for that.
Anyway, Neil, this is Neil's favourite section. We just done mine. Now it's time for Orange's Paranormal Pop Kick.
There he goes.
Here we go.
That tongue.
Shit again. Orange's Paranormal Pop Picks. Neil, what have we got today?
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, Neil, I do. is it Safety Dance by the men with their tats?
I'm not like other guys.
Culture Club. Get away. Oh, I don't know. It can only be one person, Neil. It can only be one person. Scritty
No, John. No.
Who is it, Neil? Just tell me.
Come on, it's the old classic, John. One of the best dance film thriller movies.
One of the best thriller movies.
It's thriller.
It's Michael Jackson's Thriller. Okay.
Michael Jackson.
I knew we'd get there in the end. So,
John,
Neil, why have you chose Michael Jackson's Thriller for
because
this?
it's John, basically, because we're going to do one podcast now, and because we're going to be in America at
America.
Halloween time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So get it started. Start of October.
Yeah.
The spooky season.
The spooky season upon us now.
Yeah, so I thought, the best. Obviously, everybody does thriller, and I think John, the dancing in it and everything, the choreography, brilliant.
It is.
Some of the best ever in my eyes.
Did you know it's 40 years old, Neil?
40 years old.
40 years old.
I was playing gutterball in the street. 1983.
Yeah.
And you called me in the house. You went, come and have a look at this video by Michael Jackson.
Yes, I remember.
So somebody pushed me, and I went, put me in front of the telly.
Babyface Finlayson, the cigar in your truck.
There, it's in my rusks. I can remember it now, man. It was fantastic, yeah.
Anyway, Neil, so Michael Jackson's Thriller. Now, Quincy Jones asked songwriter Rod Temperton to come up with an album title. He wrote down 200 to 300 possible titles in his hotel room before deciding on
Thriller.
Midnight Man.
Oh.
So the song was going to be called Midnight Man.
Stay the same, is it?
No. It's too close to Man in the Mirror.
Midnight Man, yeah, man. I bet that.
I know, yeah. The next morning, he woke up and the word thriller popped into his head, and the rest is history. Now, there's a famous rap in this song, isn't there, Neil?
Is it called a rap?
Yeah, it's called the Vincent Price rap. Now, Vincent Price is a horror legend from the earlier 40s, 50s, 60s, or whatever. It's black and white anyway. But Vincent Price made less than $1,000 for his work on the track.
Did he?
Yeah.
John, it's gonna be there till the day everybody dies.
Now, Quincy Jones's wife, Peggy Lipton, she knew Price. Obviously, the horror movie legend managed to record his part in 2 takes. Once the album got big, Price expressed frustration over his meager paycheck and said that Michael Jackson had stopped taking his calls.
Why?
Who is it? It's Vincent. Oh, found down.
Bubbles, give me another can of beer.
Now, Michael Jackson's video for Thriller was released, like I said before, nearly 40 years ago on December the 2nd, 1983. Now, director John Landis from American Werewolf in London fame. Now, Jackson loved American Werewolf in London, and he said, the only person I want to do this bloody video is Mr. John Landis himself. Now, it's a nearly 14-minute long music video letting Michael indulge his monster movie fantasies. Now, Thriller got saturation play on MTV and has been seen more than 140 million times on YouTube.
More than that now.
And if you remember, it's anybody, if you haven't watched the video, watch it. If you haven't, where the bloody hell have you been? But if you have, there's an opening title card, and it goes something like this: because of Michael Jackson's faith. Due to my strong personal convictions, I wish to stress that this film in no way endorses my belief in the occult, which was inserted because Michael Jackson was a Jehovah's Witness.
Was it?
Yeah. Now, there's a massive dance scene in it, well, like Orange was telling us a minute ago. And the largest number of people doing the Thriller zombie dance routine happened obviously in the Guinness Book of Records, and it was 13,597 participants done the Thriller dance in Mexico in 2009.
God, I'd love to have seen that. But you could see that from the moon, couldn't you?
Huh?
From a space station.
Probably you could see Adrian's Wall. You,
Me? You know, John.
you, and the Thriller dance in Mexico.
Yeah.
So there you go, Neil. What have you got with us for a Thriller? What have you got for
I've
me?
just done a little the Vincent Price rap, as you can call it.
Yeah.
But I've just changed the lyrics.
Okay.
lyrics.
I'm settled down, Neil. I'm settled down. Please enlighten me.
It goes a little something like this. Rubbish blows across the land. The litter picker is close at hand. Martin Lever's body is full of boiling blood while he cleans up the neighborhood. And whoever shall be found that our buildings keep burning down. Crooked House.
The Greyhound.
The Greyhound.
Listed buildings. Yes. Bastards.
They should face the sentence of hell and rot inside a prison cell. The foulest cryptid arrived in the air, a big fuck-off dog thing with 20 ears. And grisly ghouls from these cryptid fools are closing in to seal your doom. Although you're right to be scared at night, your body starts to shiver. Not one person can resist the evil of the Riddler. Excuse me, man.
Thanks for that, Neil. I really enjoyed that.
Did you?
Yeah, Martin Lever's going to be over the moon. that you've actually endorsed him into the Thriller lyrics.
Well, I hope he's down the canal now listening to this.
Yeah.
Not this time of night. You know, he's being paid back for the prostitutes. He ain't picking litter up. He's picking summer up, but he ain't picking litter up. Oh.
And on that bombshell, people, episode 12 is DUN done. Please leave some comments, leave some questions, and if you have got this far, we really, really appreciate it. Like I said, we're going to give it a rest for a couple of weeks. We're going to go on our jollies, and we're going to have a great bloody time. We're going to look for Mr. One Way, our little Timmy,
yeah,
and anybody else you can find in the Magic Kingdom. So Neil, there's nothing else to say really.
I've got one thing to say.
He does this every week. You know, I feel like the bands are at a Jerry Springer.
Who's Steve?
That's him.
Jerry Springbest. Right.
Are you really going to lift a glass to the cat?
Yeah. If I had a glass of milk, that'd be even better.
Okay, go for it.
I just want to say rest in peace to our next door neighbour's cat, Curry Cat, who got run over. When he found out tonight. Yes.
Was he in a coma for a while?
John, stop it. It ain't funny, John.
Is your ticker okay? You said he was called Curry Cat?
His name's Curry Cat, John. He got run over and he was 17. You know what I mean? John, he was 17.
17? Jesus Christ.
No, that was the number he was on the Chinese menu. Sorry.
That's ridiculous, Neil.
I'm only joking. No, Curry Cat, he was a lovely bloody cat, and some dickhead run over him on Sunday and just drove off. You know what I mean? Which is wrong. So I want to raise a glass to you, old pal. And I'm going to miss you shitting on my garden.
Neil, you said you hated it the other day because you kept leaving curry cack on your garden.
No, I didn't say I hated it, John. I said I wish you'd just stop cacking on my garden. You know what I mean? Curry cack. That's all I said. He's a lovely cat. He's blind as a fucking bat. I didn't realise he's blind as a bat until the bloke told me tonight.
Couldn't you tell with his glasses and stick?
I ain't even gonna
anyway, on that bombshell, thanks for that, bloody Jerry Springer. Episode 12 is done. Please leave comments and questions and blah, 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 all that malarkey. Check out our YouTube channel because you can watch some of the shows. You can watch this madness, you know, with our own mince pies. Watch all that. Please find us on any podcast sites, Amazon, Name another one, Neil. Spotify.
Deezer.
Just type in Paralytic Activities podcast and see what pops up. If you get there, fan bloody tastic. If you don't, watch YouTube. Neil, I've got nothing else to say apart from this. Get your glass ready. So we're keeping you awake, Neil. Keeping you awake, are we? To all you ghost hunters, cryptid stalkers, alien twitchers, and horror junkies, if you go out this weekend and you don't get any bloody spirits, just do what we do. Neil, what do?
We drink them instead.
We drink them instead. We'll see you lot in a bloody couple of weeks. Get them questions in. Get the comments in.
Thank you to everybody that participates and gets involved.
Yeah, really appreciate it. We're just going to leave you now with a little bit of somber, spooky music
From AC/DC.
from AC/DC. What have we got here? Let's have that one. Bosh ya. See you in 2, 3.